Okay, so it's roughly here-ish. It's ninja, it's just after ninja. Okay, we'll go through it. First thing, this ley lines lasts 30 seconds. Very simple, right? Long cast, Blizzard 3 functions exactly the same as before, Blizzard 4 functions exactly the same as before. The only difference here is that the cast of Blizzard 3 activated Enochian. So all you're doing is removing Enochian as a button from your bar. Simple. Fire 3 gave this buff. This buff is consumed... Sorry. This buff enhances your next Fire 1 or Blizzard 1. Right? And the way that it enhances it is what you're going to see after 3 regular old Fire 4s, which we saw before. The only things that we don't know, obviously, right now are potency numbers. Whatever, that's fine. We're never going to know that until tooltips. Fire 4 the same as usual, Fire 4 the same as usual, Fire 4 the same as usual, and then the new spell. This spell here has a 2.8 second cast time. It was replacing Fire 1. So keep in mind that now you're replacing Fire 1 with a long channeled ability. It's not a 2.5 anymore, it's a long one. So it's going to make your Fire phase not only longer, but less mobile to a degree because you have less proportional slide cast timing. Now, what you'll also notice when he casts it is gain a buff. So I'm pretty sure, because we never see this buff fall off, that he just gained a fire starter from it. Right? So gaining that buff means he got a fire starter from it. It's replacing Fire 1, still a bit of mobility. Now, do I think it's a 40% fire starter? Do I think it's a 100% fire starter? Who knows? Either way, kind of cool. And the reason that I think it never falls off is because fire starter now lasts 30 seconds. Anyway, then you have the spear, same as usual. And you saw before that this actually, it consumed that buff to cast the new one. It doesn't give fire starter on ice, no. You noticed before that the hot cold spell consumed the hot cold buff, funnily enough, and now you're going back into ice. It gives it again. This here is the AoE. It's Blizzard, it's the new Blizzard 2, essentially. This is your AoE version of Blizzard 3, where it gives you refreshed stacks, does AoE damage, and puts your time at a max and changes you to Umbral Ice 3. This is your AoE Blizzard 4, which is... Oh, sorry, Thunder 4 first. And then you've got Freeze, which is your new AoE Blizzard 4 equivalent. And then you have the new Hot Cold spell, which does not give a buff, so no fire starter from it. This is why I think it is directly upgrading Fire 1 and Blizzard 1 as opposed to being a new button. Because they will function differently, right? Fire 1 will say, when under the effect of X buff, change the spell to this thing, right? Next up, new ability, right? Notice, doesn't give a buff, right? This is the new Fire 2. It's High Fire 2. But it does put you in AF3. This one here, look, gives a buff, right? When it hits, it gave a buff. Now, what does that buff do? My theory is that this buff means that you get an instant cast flare. And I'll explain why. Right? 2 stacks of this buff. He has 2 buffs now. So now, his current status is triple cast, 2 instant cast flares. The 2 instant cast flares are going to be used first because the way that triple cast actually interacts is every other instance of an instant cast ability is consumed first. So swift cast is used before triple, etc. and procs are too. So now he's sitting on essentially 5 instant cast abilities as long as 2 of them are flares. Flare consumes 1, but it doesn't make the buff fall off because he's still got 1 stack left of instant cast flare. Uses instant cast flare, buff falls off, animation. Right? So now he's only got triple cast left. He uses mana font, uses the first stack of triple cast on flare, uses the second stack of triple cast on foul, it's not instant. Uses Xenoglossy, triple cast is never consumed. That's it. Your rotation for AoE is just going to be High Blizzard, or High Blizzara, Freeze, High Firer, High Firer, High Firer, Flare, Flare, that's it. is done.